Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to day 18 of the 30 Inks 30 Days Challenge, where people choose one ink and one pen. It could be the same pen, could be a different pen, but one ink per day. And then we share about it on Instagram and everywhere else. And the challenge was issued by Ink Journal, and I'll link them. I always do in all of my videos where I've gotten the ink from them, and this is the case with this one. This is Colorverse Dust Storm, and it came out of Ink Flight 31 in August. So I was going to read you what they said about the ink in the little thing that came in it. It said, lightly saturated yellow ochre color with shading. Okay, one thing I'm going to note right away is that in certain of the views you're going to see in the video, it's brightened and it's made look a little different by the camera and lighting. So just like other people experienced over on Instagram, this ink may look better in this video than it does in real life, but we'll try to kind of pick through that and work our way through. And I'll try to point things out to you that may be helpful to you in case this is your cup of tea. So here we go. Let's see. Here it is. This is in the Bond Travel Gear. It's 68 GSM Tomoe River paper, and I'm kind of enjoying it as an ink journal because with very rare exceptions, it doesn't bleed through, so that's been really nice. Now right here in this case right here, this what I'm seeing when I look in the camera is that it's brightening and darkening it a little, but because it really is kind of washed out. It's a washed out kind of color, I think, very subtle. So if you like subtle colors, this will be your cup of tea. And I'm going to try to be nice, you know. Goodness, I'm a nice person. Okay, let's see. Here's in the broad nib. It was taking about 35 seconds to dry, and it had shading. Let me get that up there. It had quite a bit of shading, but it was very subtle shading. To me, it wasn't heavy or anything. Just, you could definitely see it, and that's pretty good to see it in that nib. It's a broad Yowo nib. And then in the 1.5 Goulet stub, here it is. You know, at places there, I guess that was shading. Yeah, and it's brightening it up. Ugh, it just doesn't look like that. It looks a much more muted color than it is showing here anyway. Hopefully we'll find something where it looks more like itself. 25 seconds to dry. Okay, but I was getting ready to say that in the stub where it shaded, it wasn't necessarily all that favorable. It was like, am I losing my eyesight in places or what? It just was odd, that's all. And then in the fine nib, oh dear, I covered it up with this little thing. Well, I guess it was dry by 15. It was still smearing a little bit at 12 seconds. It's hard to see that, isn't it? Let me lift it up. Because it's just really lightened up in the fine nib. I think that if you like to write in fine or extra fine, this would not be your cup of tea. I don't think so. Okay, so let me see. My first impressions. 1.5 stub. I don't know why I put that overall. Not dark enough. Okay, maybe I thought that if you were going to do anything, maybe the stub would be the way to go. Not for me. Ew. Uh-oh. Okay, I wasn't being nice. Impressive ink splatters on Tomoe River 52. Yes, we're going to look at that because that was one of the things I did like about it, because I had to talk to myself and see if there was something. This is the other thing I like. It's a weird, complex ink. Look at that. Look at that neat color coming out. I actually have, there's an ink I love that's that color, and it's called Golden Gazette, or it's close to that anyway. We'll look at the panel in a minute. And there's pink. So you got this golden yellow, pink, and light blue coming out. And then, remember I told you that I thought maybe I'd contaminated my brush, and I'm very careful about stuff like that. But see how there's like green and blue and weirdness in the actual little panel piece? Well, no, it turns out it wasn't me after all. That's what happens. See, that's on the paper towel where I just laid down a paintbrush, and it's got these odd little colors that come out, kind of greenish, bluish. So I felt really good about that. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything weird, okay? Let's go ahead just for grins and show you. This was actually pretty. This is the 52 GSM Tomoe River paper, but I want you to see it. Like right up to, okay, this was in the stub and this was in the stub. And there was a difference. It actually looked better to me on the 52 GSM if you were going to write on it. And if I'm forced to write a letter tonight with this stuff, I'm going to have to use that paper because, and that nib most likely, because my eyesight is not good enough to use this ink otherwise, I think, other than for something like this, which is just so much fun and might be a good use for the rest of the ink for me. I don't know, not much left in there anyway, and it's looking, yeah, well, a little bit darker and brighter than it is, but not by much. It's just a couple clicks different. So, okay, let's look at the Rhodia. Okay, on the Rhodia, 80 GSM dot grid. Here it is. Okay, in the broad nib, it was dry at 20 seconds, and it had very subtle shading, so that was present. And then in the stub, I didn't really like how it wrote on this paper. That's just the truth of the matter, for me anyway, personally. And I suppose it was going to be dry around 20 seconds, but I didn't, in the stub too, but I could see a slight smear. Let's see. Okay, then in the fine nib, it was horrible. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, how could anybody really read that? So, but that's just the way some of these inks are. It's not the first one I've ever encountered like this. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, 15 seconds. Well, I do know. It's if you're committed to the ink for the day. Well, tomorrow's going to be a bright ink. So, okay. And it was a busy day today anyway. 15 seconds to dry. I was surprised it wasn't dry at 10 seconds. I tried it twice, but it was still smearing at 10. I can't read it in the fine nib, I said. Okay, let's put that down. And let's get the CVS Caliber, the relatively inexpensive little notebook from CVS. Okay, you know, it didn't do too much favors on here. Now, if I was going to write on CVS Caliber paper, the broad nib would be the only one I'd be comfortable with. It didn't work out well in the stub nib. It was okay. I mean, it was passable in the broad nib. And it did, you know, I painted that on because I knew that if I didn't, I was going to empty that nib. And it's sometimes hard to make it through the testing that I do with the ink. But, okay, and then it washed out terribly in the fine nib. So it was still smearing at 20 seconds in the broad nib, 20 seconds in the stub nib. It seemed to be dry, which kind of lines up with the Tomoe River, so that made sense to me. And then in the fine nib, well, it was dry at 10 seconds, and I didn't like it in that. That's almost, even with whatever the camera's doing to kind of brighten, you can barely read that, right? So no, that doesn't work out too good for anybody, I don't think. So it didn't go through at all. Let's see, on the Rhodia, we got to look back on Mariner 4, but no real ghosting or anything there. Okay. And then on the Tomoe River paper, we got something to do while we're here. We'll take a stop and we'll go back and look at that too. Okay. All right, we got to see whether it went through. No, there's hardly any ghosting because it is a light ink. That's all. So you wouldn't have any problems there. Let's see. It was the bath test I wanted to share with you. And this is what happened with the bath test. You could see this like highlighter yellow left behind. I hope you're not going to see that in the pens, but I'll let you know tomorrow. And then as far as clean out yesterday, well, I haven't marked it, but it was A-okay. Very, very easy. I cleaned them out last night. It got an A with the clean out. That's the Mariner 4. That was fine. So I will be interested to see what happens tonight when I get them clean, but I think it'll probably clean up pretty good. It should. There's not much, you know, saturation, so. Okay, let's look at the comparable panel. Even though I don't have much that compares, I have a few things to say, of course, anyway. Okay, I hope that's straight because it's hard to see. Okay, here we are right in the middle with Dust Storm by Colorverse. Oh, there was one more thing I do need to tell you, and it's just because I'm rushing because I've got, well, a conference call to get on, but okay. I do want to tell you that when you get this ink, if you buy it. It's $36, widely available, and it comes with another color, which appears bronze or brownish. It kind of, on the Goulet website, it appeared dark like Noodler's Rome Burning, the little 15 ml bottle that you would get. So you'd get the 65 mils of the Dust Storm, and then you'd get a little 15 of something that looked a lot more like, you know, darker. But it's hard to describe, and I'm not sure. Their cameras are probably better than mine for sure, but you know how that is. You got to get samples, especially of this stuff. So it was interesting to me what came to mind here, even though I don't have hardly anything that looks like it. Birmingham Sunrise Key has a little bit of similarity, but I don't think we're going to find that interesting complexity in it. And Three Oysters Mustard, I don't think I like that ink either, but I think that would be better than this one for me, for writing. Let's put it that way, for writing. Then down here, we're just way out of, we're just way out of range, but I remember that I kind of liked Robert Oster Honeybee, and I had to go and find it because I thought, is that Honeybee look like this? But no, it's much warmer, and it looks a lot, Honeybee by Robert Oster looks a lot like Golden Gazette. That's Birmingham. I need to label that because that's going to, catch me one day when I can't remember. That's Birmingham. And that is going to come out on day 23. So that's something we can look forward to not very long from now. This one is Pure Pens Cotswolds. Okay, it's totally different. It's like a brown almost. But I really didn't have much that looks like Dust Storm. For me, that's a good thing. But okay, here is a yellow that is what I would call a traditional yellow. Birmingham Swiss Helm, Jane Grey Swiss Helm Daisy Lace. Okay, and then this ink made me think of Rome Burning, but it doesn't have the saturation. Dust Storm doesn't. Noodler's Rome Burning does, and it's very pleasing coming out of a nib, and you can read it pretty well. And then here's another yellow just for grins because that's all I really had to put on the panel here. Blackstone Golden Wattle. So you see how far we are from actual yellow, which kind of can be like a highlighter or, but that's what we ended up with when we washed away the main color, I guess. Okay, I still had a couple extras even though I'm not sure what this is worth. Papier Plume Caramel. Well, yeah, that's a long way away. It's not anywhere near. And Private Reserve Buttercup just didn't make the panel because there were a couple others that did. So, that were yellow. And then here's another one that I did this one I was surprised by, I remember, when I did the profile of Birmingham Luna Park Marmalade. I liked it. But I would have told you ahead of time that I would not have liked it, but I did. So I was hopeful about Dust Storm, but it just isn't for me, that's all. It may be for someone else. Okay, so now you've already heard a whole lot about what I think about the ink, but let's just keep going, I guess. I've got the little booklet by the Pen Thing, the Ink Swatch Plot Log, and I've got it in here. And I put not saturated enough for me. That pretty much, I think, explains it. Because I did like that interesting bit of complexity that comes out there, and, if they just put a little more color in it, that probably would have passed. But the saturation to me was really low. The flow was okay. It was good. Shading it definitely appeared and it was good. So it was kind of like okay, like right in the middle. Not terrible and not great. Okay. Bleeding and feathering, I didn't see any of that. Dry time I thought was reasonable. And I'm just saying 0. I didn't see sheen, halo, or shimmer. Well, other than on that little piece of paper towel, sort of, but that doesn't count. That's not coming out of a nib or anything. That little piece of paper towel, that was real interesting how it did that, and also how it muddied up the actual. I really thought, oh no, I have failed to clean my paintbrush or whatever, and somehow. But I'm so careful about that because in the early days I made a few mistakes like that. So overall, I gave it a 5. I guess I'm judging it on the color being weak and not really showing up on the page. However, I do think that if your nibs are right and you like muted colors like that, you'd be really happy with it. So, yeah. Okay, I really am curious about what it's going to do in the Nick Stewart technique, because I don't want to prejudge it. I just want to try it because I've been surprised before. So let's see what happens. Whether we're surprised, or my prediction would be it won't do much, but who knows? Because of the way it acted on here, indeed it could, because we've got like pink and green and blue coming out. So who knows what's going to happen. All right, I got a broad nib, a fine nib, paintbrush. Has already been cleaned and ready. Okay, and I got the vial, so let's go. See what happens. Oh, well, we get a little bit of something there. Oh, that's just gonna really add to it. That's okay. That's all right. We may do two. We may do one over here too, because I had a couple teensy little splatters, but we don't want to waste this nice paper, so see what happens. Okay. Yeah, it's about what I thought. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. But we do have to wait. I can't judge it yet even, because separation occurs the longer it's on the water, so to speak. And who knows what's going to happen. So let me go in with the broad nib and kind of put in a baseline, I guess. Or, well, I made it crooked. That's all right. It'd be just a little hard to do. Okay, I'm going to do the bottom. Try to do it fairly stable from color to color just to see how it reacts. Okay. Then I think I can put detail in. Oh, I see a little bit of blue coming through. Oh, that's interesting. Just going to stop for that. Huh. Well... yeah, I see a little bit of color coming out there. Blue kind of. Whoops, I've got a shadow from that. It's gotten kind of late in the afternoon. Okay. Let's see with a fine lamy nib whether we can put any details in. See, they're not going to show up very good. Let's see with the broad nib. I don't know. Make sure that we've got ink coming out. Yep. All right, that's much better. I don't... yeah, I see a little yellow and a teensy, tiny little green. Oh, there's some pink coming out. Isn't that something? The longer that it sits there. But yeah, I don't know that you could see it yet. I will show you tomorrow. And let's see. Let me see if I can fix that little... go on with what I had planned. At least we can see from the broad nib. Normally the broad nib just makes such a mess, and it's usually the finer nib I need for this. That's not bad, actually. Other than the fact that I don't know about visibility until I see it all dried and stuff. Hey, we were just talking about palm trees. We have 3 palm trees in the front. Well, these aren't palm trees. I don't know what these trees are, but we were kind of trying to predict how big our trees may get and how much maintenance they may have to have. We're a little freaking out. They're growing really good, so. Okay, I guess that's it. I've got to see that part right there. I'm seeing pink and then a little bit of blue, which is pretty, but I don't know that it's going to show up. So, but this actually is doing better than I thought it would. More. And it's helped by the fact that the camera kind of brightens everything. Whoops. Okay, let's look at what is for tomorrow, because, ooh, I love tomorrow's color without even putting it in a nib. Oh, I'm so prejudiced about inks. Okay, this is Colorverse Opportunity, and it's really, really pretty. And already it kind of reminds me of, well, yeah, it reminds me of Straight's Pan Honest Ink Bougainvillea Purple a little bit, but it's even brighter. See how that, see that? So this will be for tomorrow, and I'll have a lot more writing time tomorrow. Today, I had a whole bunch of work and errands and all kinds of stuff, so kind of worked out good because I don't know about writing with that ink. Okay, so what did you think about this ink? Was I too harsh? Let's see if you can see. I don't It's funny how that works. I actually like the complexity that came out there. I can see pink, but with my eyes. So anyway, I'd love to hear anything you want to say about this, and hopefully I wasn't too harsh on it. I think that I think some people will like it, and I don't think there's much in between. I really kind of think that if you see this ink in person, and please get a sample if you're planning to use it, you're either going to love it or hate it. It's not one of those, I don't think, where we come up very neutral. That's just my opinion. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, and have a great evening. Bye for now. Or whenever you're watching this. Day, evening. Bye.